check this out. I had a guy come up to me at a book signing, and he goes, I just wanted to tell you something. I watched your film Evil Dead 2 on acid. And I went, what? The movie's like it's on acid already. What would that experience be like? He goes, it bruised my brain.
You interviewed me on the set of Daredevil.
Yeah.
Were you doing something for MTV or something? What was that? I never saw that. I don't know.
But there's a funny story that goes with that because MGM dropped my film the next day because of what I said on that show.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you say on the show?
I said they had no morals. And they got mad. But I said it as a joke, and I forgot I was mic'd as a joke.
But did you really say it as a joke?
No, because it was the set of Daredevil, so it was you and Ben Affleck, and I was talking to Ben. He said, "Oh, what's up with your movie? I heard Universal dropped it because the film had no moral value or anything." And I said, "Yeah, but MGM picked it up. I guess they have no morals. Ha ha ha." And then the next day, page 2, Variety, Rob Zombie says MGM has no morals, and this,
really?
Wow.
Then that morning, one of the producers called and said, "I don't know what you said yesterday on set, but you're fucked."
But a corporation is not supposed to have morals.
Well, it was just a joke. It'd be like saying it in the green room, and suddenly it's like in Variety. You're like, where did that happen?
Oh, that movie was kicking around for years. I was reading about it on the internet.
Well, yeah, because I shot it with Universal when they let it go. MGM picked it up, and when we were editing it with MGM, getting ready to release, and I said that, and I was like,
yeah.
I mean, the editor called me like, they just locked me out of the editing room this morning for.
No.
No, it was like done.
But yet you got to release it. Was it Lionsgate?
Lionsgate picked it up,
Yeah.
and then it was all good. But that was funny. All because of that damn Daredevil show. Derailed me for years.
You and me both.
Well, we can't say anything anymore without 8 cameras on us. We got 5 cameras on us. Just
Well, here we are now. Yeah.
Trying to
Really
eat.
they didn't just follow you here, buddy. You know what I mean?
I just think
never
it's
gonna
interesting.
air,
I think
thanks to
people
you.
are becoming more and more afraid to just say stuff.
Yeah.
Not me.
No, face on this.
I don't give a fuck. That's why this year I'm only doing stand-up because it's like the true art form. Like people come out, see you say what the fuck you want to say, and nobody's gonna get, you can make the same amount of money.
Although with these specials, it's nice. You actually get to combine the 2 art forms. It's your
Right,
shtick, it's your
right.
writing, it's your
But you gotta
performance.
it's better if you, like we're gonna record my shit on the road and then put it to DVD. But not like HBO's not gonna air. I mean, HBO's cool.
There's so many means of distribution now.
I was bummed out for a while because when the multiplexes started to appear, at first I thought, great.
Because they were like, now there'll be more variety.
No, that in 2 of them you'll have low-budget movies or indies,
Which they do.
They
and stuff.
do,
There are
but
a couple
generally
places.
they don't.
I think there's more of an opportunity, but if you don't hit the first weekend, then you're out of there.
Then you're out. But
Yeah.
recently, to finish the point, is that I just toured with this film, Bubba Hotep, which was an independent weirdo Elvis Presley and a rest home
big
movie.
internet buzz, I remember.
But I found around the theater, traveling around the country, that there is enough of a countercultural venues now, like the Landmark Theater chain, for example. I just attended an opening of one of the multiplexes in Washington, D.C., and there isn't a Die Hard on a single screen. It's all indies. All indies and foreign films, which I was really satisfied by that, because normally, in the independent, low-budget exploitation world, your stuff's going straight to video, or now it's to DVD.
Roger, back in the day, like Death Race or something, how many screens would that be on?
Well,
Would it be regional and then you just move it around?
It was regional. We would end up playing a few thousand screens, but not all at one time. You'd put, say, 100. Let me see. I'll have the salad and the swordfish.
Did you roll them out? Did you?
Yes. What we would do would say we'd make 100 prints and put 100 prints in New York, and play for 2 weeks in New York, and then we'd play 100 dates in Chicago and move them overnight to Chicago, and we'd have 100 prints maybe in LA and then move to San Francisco with a few hundred prints in a couple of months. And it was always a big thing on Monday morning to see what had done over the weekend, and you're juggling your prints. And it was a very efficient way to go, because also, if it didn't work, you could change your advertising. I can remember sometimes where it didn't quite work, and by Friday we'd have a new ad and a new TV spot out. Now you're blowing everything on 1 week. You got 2,000, 3,000 theaters, and if you've made a mistake in your advertising, there's no return.
It was a long road, Evil Dead. We'd never made any films before with Sam Raimi and Rob Tappert. I went to high school with Sam Raimi.
And then what was Evil Dead the first time you guys collaborated?
Yeah, back in '79 we shot that, and we raised money from.
How did you? Because it seems to me raising money on the first picture is the toughest.
It sucks. It's the worst. It's anyone who has done it. I have, even if I think their movie sucked, I have great respect for them because we did it through a limited partnership. We got groups of dentists and doctors and lawyers together, professional people. We put a document together so it was all legal.
Okay, I'm gonna star. And
while he's doing
sure.
your teeth.
No, exactly. Well, what we would do, we shot a Super 8 movie to use as a pilot to show the investors. So we'd go over to their house. One time there was a group of dentists who, they're always pooling the money. Dentists are great.
There's
Get
always
money from
dentists
dentists,
involved.
by the way. They're loaded with dough, dentists. So they'd have a dinner party with 4 dentists and their wives, and we'd show them this completely gross.
Evil Dead.
Oh my God! And they would invest. And one guy invested. We had one guy who gave us money because he didn't go to Vegas that year. Oh. He says, I usually take $2 grand and blow it in Vegas. Well, here's my Vegas money. So he's since made 17 times his money. So he was happy about that. But we were glad that we had formed a structure legally so that when the money did come in, it wouldn't be like the producers where you don't know who's. Because I hear this from filmmakers all the time. Oh, yeah, I just made this film. I'm like, okay, A, did you even copyright the script? Do you have any agreement on paper with the investors? Well, it's my uncle. He let me borrow it. And then my friend, Ken, who gave me some money. It's like, you better hope this doesn't make money because you're not going to have all the answers. So I recommend with any filmmaker, you got to put your business hat on for like 5 minutes and figure out the right stuff. Who owns this? Because if we hadn't done that, Evil Dead was 25 years ago now.
that's how the Coen brothers did it too. With I think Blood
They
Simple.
did it differently though.
They shoot the trailer. What was it?
Well, we helped them shoot their trailer for Blood Simple, actually. We told them how we had raised money, and they said, no, we want to do it a little differently. So what they did is they did a 5-minute trailer like the movie was already shot. They shot it in 35 millimeter. They shot it MOS, so it was silent. Put in all the music and sound effects later. And they showed it to investors in movie theaters on the big screen and say it's going to be just like this, only 90 minutes. And it's a very effective presentation, and so that's how they made their first film, Blood Simple.
So wait, you met the Coen brothers because you had done it already and they were asking you for advice?
Yeah, Joel Coen was the assistant editor of Evil Dead.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm used to saying, hey, Joel, get me a cup of coffee, but that's another story. You can probably attest to your longevity. You will probably never spend more than X amount on a movie, right?
We're forced to up our budgets a little bit now.
Sure.
We have to put more special effects. When we would do a science fiction picture in the 1960s or even 70s, we could get away with $20,000, $30,000 worth of special effects. We have our big winner Dino Croc, which came out recently, and we spent $200,000 on special effects, but it paid off. The film did very nicely for us, and our next one will be up to about $300,000. Now, in comparison to a major studio, that's not a great deal of money, but if we play
opening sequence,
but if we play primarily on cable and get our money from DVD, $300,000 or $400,000 in special effects on a $1 to $2 million picture will pay off. So we're gradually moving up to $2 million, $3 million, and so forth.
But now, of all the movies that you made, and it's obviously into the hundreds.
380?
Yeah, whatever.
Something like
it's a
that.
ridiculous amount of movies. What percentage would you say, because you're known as being probably the most frugal producer, what percentage of those movies made money and which ones didn't? Do you have a rough ballpark?
I have a rough idea. Somebody wrote an article once that I never lost money. Untrue. You can't be around and not losing. But we probably made money in maybe 80% of the films.
That's great.
And the biggest money always came when we had a more or less original idea. But you can't be 100% original. But the more, when we did the biker film, The Wild Angels, which was the first of the Hell's Angels films, it was the biggest grossing independent film I think ever made at that time. We came back 2 years later with A Trip, which featured same cast, Peter Fonda, Bruce Dern, Dennis Hopper, written by Jack Nicholson, the usual suspects. And it was the first of the LSD pictures. And again, we did our biggest money with that. And even on more commercial subjects, when we did Carnosaur, which came out just before Jurassic Park, you could almost draw a graph. If you say the cost of the picture is here, and your grosses are here, the gross on the first Carnosaur was there. The second one was here.
Sure.
The third one was
But
there.
your budgets on each go
No,
up, though.
on that one we held the budgets level, and I would draw a graph.
They didn't need
and we
props.
went to Carnosaur 5, and our profit was this much. And I said, that's fine. We've had a great run. There will never be a Carnosaur 6. Exactly.
Does testing even enter into the equation in the types of movies you've done over the years?
No, we can't. We can't afford the tests.
You can, but why, huh? It's like the audience is the true test anyway.
Yeah, and the film's finished, and we're not going to be reshooting.
Exactly. That's it, exactly.
The screenings are only good, I guess, if you're going to sit there and just feel the vibe of the audience.
That's right.
And
That's
go,
all I would
this
do.
isn't funny. I thought it was funny, but no one laughs.
Right.
But when, I mean, the times that I've had to do those, they lead the audience wherever they want them to go.
Right.
Because they grab a bunch of kids, and there's always one kid who's
Well,
the
it's who
frustrated.
they recruit too.
Well, here's a funny story on that. On House of a Thousand Corpses, the guy who was the special effects guy was walking in a mall, and he got handed free tickets to go. And they didn't know, so we went to sit there. And then they picked him for the test group, and they asked him how old he was. I think he was like 32. They, oh, you're way too old for the test group. So, and it's an R-rated movie,
Right.
so he didn't get to participate, but I just thought that was funny. So they were specifically going like 18 to 19.
Well, we function a different way. Rather than having a selected audience, we have a true sneak preview.
Yeah.
We never do it in Hollywood, but we'll do it in the suburb somewhere, and it'll be on a Friday night, and we'll just put something in sneak preview, and if we have a horror film, it'll be with a horror film that's playing, so we have the audience.
This is a
the way
different
we
thing,
work.
though, because you're using it to. It's like what Rob was saying. You want to see where they laugh, where they're scared, what they do.
You can totally tell. As a filmmaker, you can. That's all you need.
But what they write isn't necessarily what they.
You know
When they get up to
if they're laughing or if they yell or something, you know. Now, we generally pass out cards anyway, just for reference. But the biggest thing you do is just sit there and take notes on the audience's reaction.
Yeah.
Are you working with Andrew?
Yeah, we're going to do this project together.
Yeah, this is fast.
What are you doing with him?
A thing called Happy Campers. It's about black people camping.
The comedy
Yeah. It's just, black people don't camp.
with fantasy. Fantasy movie.
Actually, that's a great title. Black People Don't Camp.
It's
Like that, white
like
man
that
can't
for-
jump. Black people don't camp. That's actually
This is Roger Corman now telling you
At least be
this.
the slogan.
happy. Black people don't camp.
He would get money for titles. They say, here's a title, go make a movie.
At least a free dinner. So
Andrew Stevens, actor turned producer.
yes,
I saw
and
him out.
financier.
Is he somebody that you collaborated with?
Andrew starred in a couple of pictures for us, and
was
then
in The
he,
Fury.
he directed
The
a couple.
Fury, right. Let's just go through. Tell me how because you either got a great nose for talent or that everybody gets incredibly lucky after they work with you. Coppola, how'd you get together with him?
Francis Coppola came out of the UCLA Film School to work as an editor on a Russian science fiction picture I bought. And then Marty Scorsese came out of NYU, as did a number of
Did he do
guys.
Boxcar Bertha?
Yeah.
That's right. It was
And Ron Howard.
And Ron Howard, of course, Happy Days, but Ron had gone to the SC Film School, so he had a background in that. And Jonathan Demme did publicity, and he wrote a couple of scripts for me, and then directed and produced, and Joe Dante went to an art school.
But
in
how did you find
Philadelphia.
these people? I mean, this is such a weird. It's not like you were just going to the farm team of NYU Film School. You were going everywhere.
Did you find them or they found you?
A combination of both. We were looking at film school graduates. Each year they do their thesis films, and they will have a screening or you can ask for them. So we would call the big three at that time were NYU, SC, and UCLA. So we'd look at the graduate films of
that's a good idea.
all three things. And when people found that out, they started calling us. So it's a combination. We were looking for them, and they were looking for us.
So my question is, do guys like Jack Nicholson just call you up and go, "Hey, Roger, what's going on? It's been 50 years. What's up?" You know?
Well, Not so much, but Jack was asked. Jack was asked on some TV talk show if after his current success he would work for me again. He said, "Sure, if Roger'd pay my salary."
Yeah, that's right.
And if I could, I would.
Well, they have commercials when you go to the fucking movies.
Watch them, yeah, I was going to say.
It's like 30 minutes of commercials at the movies.
Yeah, that's pretty
That
offensive.
sucks.
Because I'm paying now. Don't make me sit there and suffer through that crap while I'm paying.
Right.
It's fine on TV because I'm not paying. That's your excuse.
Some theaters are starting to turn away from that
ArcLight
because
won't
the
do it.
audience is really telling them, we don't want this. And the theater owners are saying, no, we'd rather give up this money and not alienate the audience.
Yeah.
What I want to see even less than commercials is the don't download movies commercial. I mean, I'm in the fucking theater. I
With
just
the
paid my
painter
money.
guy?
I'm not downloading your fucking movie.
Right.
So whatever.
As if you're going to stop it, too. That's what kills me. I get neighbors all the time. I was talking about, go Netflix this or get this, get that. They went, no, I'll just download it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'll just download it.
I think that's because the public is getting tired of going to the movies and getting fooled.
What about bootlegs, though? Look what happened to Soul Plane.
You think the bootleg fucked up Soul Plane? You really think, bootlegs! If it hadn't been bootlegged,
What an
no,
Oscar.
I think bootleg helped that fucking movie. I'm like, who the fuck came up with that bullshit idea? Let's put some niggas on the plane, like we ain't never been on a plane, like.
So tell us about Happy Campers.
So the plane idea is offensive, but the camping is
No,
really
but I'm saying
across the
the
line.
way I mean, black people have owned an airline before. Sure. But to do a fucking movie about some dude and say we're gonna put Snoop in it and he's gonna have niggas come see it, and it's like, no, we're not gonna see that bullshit. 20s with the thing, it's fucking stupid. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Where do you check for
But I would go see a movie with
listings?
Snoop trying to start a fire, rubbing two sticks together in the woods.
You'll see that.
I'm just saying.
You'll go see that. Some black people lost in the woods. Come on, snakes, bears.
That's funny. When you were making the trip, I heard that someone made you do LSD because they said, "Oh, how can you make this movie if you haven't done this yet?"
I did take LSD before doing the trip, but it wasn't that anybody said, as...
It was craft service.
Exactly.
Everybody
that.
did it.
They slipped it in the dessert.
Did they? No.
No. As a conscientious director, you do research on what you're going to do. And I felt I can't very well do a picture about LSD without trying it. Now, I was the squarest guy in a very fast crowd. So when everybody heard that I was going to take LSD, and I wanted to take it at Big Sur because I'd read you take it in a beautiful place. Ended up, we had a caravan of cars going up to Big Sur and the equivalent of a production board, a production schedule as to who was going to be taking LSD and who was going to be watching them because you always had a couple of guys.
It's a buddy system. It's responsible drug taking.
And the net result, and when I took it, it was so overwhelming that I realized you could not reproduce the experience on film. You could come close.
Not on that budget.
Particularly on that budget. So I went for a lot of very fast, tricky cutting, as many effects as I could.
Was Bruce Dern your safety buddy by any chance when you were?
Bruce played the guru, and he was the only one who wasn't on drugs. And I can say it now after all these years. He was the only one in the cast or crew who wasn't on drugs. But he played the guru who was instructing everybody about drugs. And he told me he used to get letters from people asking him what his opinion was about different drugs and so forth. But during the Reagan years, they had one of their wars on drugs. Which, every 5 years there's a new war on drugs. And the New York Times called me and asked me what I thought about the new war on drugs. And I said, well, what are you calling me for? And they said, well, you as one of the spokesmen for the drug movement. And I said, spokesman for the drug movement, but you get a reputation.
Hey, I want to talk about making movies in other countries. A lot of people complain about production leaving this city and leaving California, but I would never have moved to, I'm from Michigan, but I never would have moved to California if it wasn't for the film business because I like things called trees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's the way I grew up thinking that movies had to be made in Hollywood in a studio. And
I'm always amazed when they were.
I never want to leave town. I'm like, I always try to find a way to stay here.
How do you find a way to do it? I've found in my life I'm an absolute gypsy.
I don't know, because they just, every time they do the budgets, go, well,
Yep.
you can make it work here. You don't have to go to Vancouver.
Well, not always.
I mean, depending upon the movie.
Well, you shot Jack of all trades in Australia?
New Zealand.
New Zealand?
Well, It's pretty simple logic there. You walk off the plane, everything's half off. Our dollar was twice as strong as the Kiwi dollar.
Except George Bush has done the motion picture industry a great favor. He's made the dollar so weak that now you want to come back to America and take advantage of the cheap labor costs in the United States.
Although you say labor costs, I just worked in Bulgaria. The average Bulgarian makes $110 a month. How are you going to compete with that?
It's very
That's for every
difficult.
industry. That's for
Yeah,
every
it
industry.
is for every
Yeah.
industry.
We make now fewer films than we did before. We make 5 or 6 films a year. We shoot in the United States only those films that have a specific American background. For instance, we've got a picture on stock car racing that's going to be shot in the South in the spring. I can't shoot that in Bulgaria.
Right.
But so that will be an American film.
But you'll shoot a week here, and then you'll go do the rest in Bulgaria, no?
No, we'll still shoot everything here because there's an authenticity.
But how do you find the crews in Bulgaria, though? I mean,
They have fairly
Very carefully.
decent crews, but it's been my experience working there that the crews are pretty good. For instance, I've worked in Russia, in Bulgaria, in Lithuania, and in a couple of other countries, the names I can barely pronounce. And the communists developed motion picture industries because they thought they were important for their culture and to spread their propaganda.
Propaganda, sure.
So I found that particularly in Russia, the crews are very, very good. They're very slow. They're inefficient, but the quality of the work is excellent.
They have an independent film scene. I guess they're starting to put together, because everybody imports our movies everywhere.
Yeah.
And now Russia's starting, the top movie in Russia was finally a Russian movie, and they're starting to
Oh,
break
that
new
was
ground.
done by a Russian director who started with me.
No.
As a matter of fact.
What movie was that?
It was a Moscow Nights, and it was a vampire picture, and it was a Russian director. I'd done a couple of pictures in Moscow and always sent over an American director. And I finally said, I know they're good Russian directors, so I said to the guys at Mosfilm, send me some work of young Russian directors that you think would be right. And they sent them, and I didn't think they were good. And I said, send your next group. And this one guy had never done motion picture. He'd only done some commercials for Russian television. And I thought he was really good. So we worked with him, and he then made his first film in Russia on the basis of having made The Arena about women gladiators for me in Russia. How we made it in Russia, I won't even get into, but it was a pretty good film.
That's amazing. So it is the taste. You do have the nose for talent.
Cable has the best programming.
Yeah, the best programming, and also they have more latitude in what they can put on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
but
people
this-
on cable can talk like
They
people
don't.
talk.
Right.
Not like a stupid sitcom.
Not only that, though, but the content they put on, like HBO, I did an HBO film, and they don't really fuck with you with all that other shit.
Yeah.
And it's not all, who's been eating the cookies?
that's a good one.
You know what kills me about network TV though? They still can air whatever they want because
Right.
in Channel 50, a local Detroit station aired The Deer Hunter, uncut, swearing, nudity, violence, carnage, mayhem, everything. They just had a disclaimer. How hard is that?
They went to it with since what's her name, Jackson's Tit came out. They
Titty, yeah.
they won't show
What's up with that?
Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, who cares about her tit?
I know.
Who cares?
Like when they showed her titty, I saw it and I was like, oh, that was cool. I was like, damn, that's cool.
What's more ridiculous about it, though, is why did she feel like she had to do it? What is there to gain from
I mean,
that?
that's probably their,
I mean, that to
think
me is
that's their
more
whole-
disturbing than seeing her naked breast. I don't give a rat's ass.
And then Timberlake's bitch ass, he acts like he wasn't even there. Bitch ass motherfucker.
Why are you mad at him?
I'm like, why? Nobody ever said nothing about his bitch ass pulling the thing.
Why do you think it was?
Both of them were in on it. Get out of here.
They
It's
were
so
like,
much-
look, when I say ooh, woo, you're gonna pull the titty,
Right.
and you're gonna go ooh.
Right.
That's what it was.
I know, but whose stupid ass idea was it in the first place?
And you know what? I think the networks even knew because they were rehearsing the shit. They had a rehearsal. So it's like, okay, everybody off the set, we're gonna rehearse the titty grabbing. Where's bitch ass Timberlake? He should have just man up and like, you know what? I was a part of it too. You know what I'm saying? But every time I see him, I'm like, you bitch ass motherfucker.
Well, they both should have just said that we planned it, we did it,
That-
it was
yeah,
dumb,
that's true.
forget about
That's
it.
true. And we're like, and yeah, she. I was mad that she issued a
Apology?
I sorry.
But why can't we get past this wardrobe malfunction shit? They did it. It was a gag. Why not,
Maybe they were
why
going
not
to
just
sue.
say
Maybe
it?
they were going to sue her or something. She's
They
like,
already fined him like how many millions of dollars?
Did anybody even care?
Nobody at this table cares, but people in certain parts
See,
of
like
the
the
country
corporation
do
are
care.
looking.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Somebody in, you got some Klan member in Iowa going,
Wilmington, right?
was that goddamn Janet's titty and Justin? Don't worry about Justin.
Get the boys, round them up.
I'm not going to see Janet's titty on TV. I'm like, what?
You used to work as an art director for a porn magazine?
Yeah. What? It's a respectable job.
What? I'm saying,
I just see the, I know.
What did you do?
Just like, it was like pre-computer stuff, so it was all like layouts and paste up and design.
Here's your belt for your plumber's.
No, literally, I would get an envelope full of the photos and the copy, and I would just have to put it all together.
Put it all together.
Like I was like a one-man operation. I did like 20 magazines all by myself. I mean, talk about
So it wasn't a lot of
low
creative.
budget. No. I mean, I tried to sneak stuff in wherever possible. I got to decide, like, what would be the spread shots or the close-ups. Or
Did you see his movie yet?
What? No, his movie freaked me out with the corpses with the clown. Yeah, I was. Yeah, that freaked me the fuck. I was like, he knows something I don't know, because I couldn't watch it high.
People hate clowns.
It was scary. I mean, but it was like a different scary. Like you put a clown in a movie because we know clowns exist.
And it makes you it's
There you
scary.
go. And plus the fact that you're high. You know what I'm saying?
Which do you think suits a horror movie best? Less gore, more implied, like The Haunting?
I've always liked less gore. I've always liked the idea of implied gore. I think if you can put something in the mind, the unconscious mind of the audience, they can create in their own mind something far more frightening than anything you can put on the screen.
Just
So
like
I think,
the others.
I think it's sort of the filmmaker puts something out there and the audience reaches out and they come together and they create something between them that is better than the filmmaker can do. Plus, if it's implied, every single person in the audience has a different interpretation of what is going on. So if one person is afraid of one thing, he'll put that into it. Somebody else is afraid of something different.
Like, boy, that incest movie was freaky.
Yeah, and the guy says, what incest movie?
You shot Little Shop of Horrors 2 days?
2 days and a night. I remember in this one key scene, Jack Nicholson played a masochist in a dentist chair. And the scene was supposed to end up with Jack dueling the dentist. And they started it, and they knocked over the dentist chair. And I asked the prop man how long it would take to fix a chair. He said, it'll take an hour. I said, the scene ends with the knocking over of the dentist chair. We're on to the next set.